Good morning, everyone. We wanted to take you throughout one of our days here in Italy. So, my husband is Italian, Umbrian. I am half Italian, half American. I grew up in America. My grandparents are from Italy. We live now in Umbria. And the beginning of our day was a long walk in our own farm. We have an enormous farm which is made up of ancient lands that have been in my husband's family for countless centuries, and we still maintain it as a farm. We produce various types of grain. This is my sister-in-law's garden that she just started last week. A little bit late, but we're getting there. And notice the horseshoes on that's not even a house, it's just a little shed. The horseshoes are for good luck, and they need to be positioned in that way because they catch the good luck. I guess the good luck springs from the ground. That would be a very agricultural way of looking at things. And so now we're back walking through the fields. You can see my professional shadow there. And these are a mix of, it's a type of fava, but it's not for humans, it's for animal feed. So that's one of the things we grow here. And then the yellow flower provides a lot of nitrogen to the soil, which is really important. The poppies are everywhere this time of year. So you'll see poppies, and in the distance you see that hill. Again, this is all of our property. We call it the Mountain of Clay because all of this land is heavily clay. It's a major component of the soil, and makes that a challenge for farming, of course. But in that clay, we still find seashells from millions of years ago. This is one of my favorite fields. Some of this is ancient grain. So farmers prior to the 1950s, 1960s grew grains that were not standardized and then became standardized in the 1950s and 1960s. And we still do grow some ancient grains. There's other farmers in the area who grow as well. But I just love that these lands are still ours. It's rare to have this much land still in one family after so many centuries, and it's a beautiful, beautiful part of Italy. Here we're looking at you can see more of that clay type soil. This is one of our local private roads that connects some of the fields. And when I see on social media everybody who wants to come live in Italy, and they dream of it, and many of them make it happen. They come here as an expat. I find it, it's a complex situation for me because I see why, food, wine, scenery, people, often. It's often the people, the perception that the people are lovely and warm. But I also think that it's challenging. It's a challenging topic because the Italy that the expats see is a shadow of the real Italy. The real Italy is, of course, beautiful like this. Like, just look at our land. It's gorgeous. But it's also complex, and there are a lot of problems. There are a lot of challenges of living in Italy, and not just for the expats, but the Italians. They have a lot of challenges among themselves. And it's a fairly great task that we as Italians have ahead of us to adjust our path forward. And so, enough philosophizing, it's time to get to work. We headed back to the palazzo and into one of the apartments that needs a lot of work. We are now looking at one of our apartments in the palazzo that obviously needs to be renovated, but look at that view. That door is going to be a full window, so it's going to let even in more light. This is another apartment Obviously the flooring is changing, everything is changing. This is probably the smallest of the 5 apartments in the palazzo. Of course, we live in the palazzo. So we're walking into the bedroom here. All the flooring is changing. Everything is changing. We're looking out the window. You can see through the netting of the scaffolding, which will be going away, of course, the gorgeous view that this bedroom is gonna have. And one of the big things we're trying to decide here is exact positioning of the kitchen and the bathroom that is just on the other side of the kitchen. We want to make this bathroom bigger. Of course, it's not going to have blue floor anymore. So probably neutral colors and maybe some splashes of green. We'll see. We also spent some time in one of the local stores looking at tiled floors, all the beautiful tiles that look like wood or look like marble. That was another thing we spent time doing today. I fell in love with this one panel of tile for a shower. I thought it was so gorgeous, but soon we were starving and it was time to head home for lunch. Oh, in our fully restored kitchen, looking at the first rose of May, these roses are an antique variety that have been in our city garden for centuries. We don't know how long. The perfume is nothing like anyone's ever smelled. It's spicy, not sweet. And we came down into our apartment to make lunch. We made lunch with some gnocchi that were made not by me, because I don't cook. I boil water and I cook pasta in water, but I don't actually prepare the pasta or the sauces. And there's a little shop about a 2-minute walk from us where we buy gnocchi, lasagne, tortellini, we buy ravioli, we buy all different local types of stuffed pastas. And so after a long day's work, we did conclude our day up on our roof terrace, and it was raining, but you can see there's a rainbow. Do you see the rainbow way up there? And here we are in our construction site having an aperitivo, but it really kind of helped remind us of why we are working so hard, because it's so beautiful. Even though we face Italian bureaucracy as Italians, of course in the Italian language, which is a different vocabulary than the regular Italian language, we had this gorgeous view to make us feel better.
Possiamo lamentarci però della pioggia, che senza la pioggia sarebbe stato l'Arcobaleno.